Welcome to the Plastic Pleasing Store podcast.
We are your hosts, Trey the Explainer,
and me, Miles Greb.
A podcast about the natural world,
things that people claim are part of the natural world,
and things that used to be.
And Trey, we're back with another episode, my good friend.
Yes, we are. It's good to be here. Good to be here, Miles.
This is the first episode we've done together since we've actually met in the corporeal realm.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Like we met people. Me and Miles met in person since it was around New Year's. I flew out to Seattle and I saw my homie in person. It was great.
Yep.
It was really cool.
Stayed at my place. We went to the Burke Museum. We got to see lots of cool anthropology and paleontology stuff. You know,
we were like able to bond over a very niche knowledge and like things that upset us, like we were like only we would notice it at the museum. That's great stuff.
Yeah, like particular words that would only bug us. I'm like, Trey, you will understand. You're the only one who will understand this.
Like, I know what they're trying to say there. I know what they're trying to say being sneaky. So that was cool. And then I got you a gift, Miles. I snuck in a gift.
Oh yeah, I got the freaking Yeti toe. Trey brought me the toe of the Yeti itself, the real toe.
I snuck it past security. Thought I was gonna get in trouble, and it made it.
Yeah, I am glad to have that on my shelf. It's a treasured artifact. If you want to hear more about Yeti toes, tune in for the next episode when we'll have Darren Nish on, and we're going to go into the hour-long Monster Quest special in the Yeti. So we're bringing in Darren to finally put the abominable snow monster himself to bed. But that's not this episode.
That's not.
This episode, we're going to talk about the movie that Trey and I watched together when it came up.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about the new Monster Quest a little bit. But Trey, you have something else you're going to tell people. But before we get into that, I just want to say that it was really nice having you up here, Trey. You're a good fella. And yeah, it was good to see you.
Thank you, Miles. I feel the same. Like it was really funny. Like I took the train out and you were waiting in the parking lot. And I was like, hey, didn't you take a picture of me? You're like, I just saw you or something like that. And it was really fun meeting Miles. And thank you so much for being such an awesome host and taking me out to see cool stuff.
We got to watch and see a bunch of stupid shit on YouTube.
We watched a whole bunch of shit that made us angry. We watched like tons of stuff that made us angry.
I don't know if we want to mention the YouTube videos we watched or not. That's up to you. But yeah, certain people you might know that we don't like.
Well, you introduced me to things that like I didn't know that now I know and I hate. Like if a rat learns. What was the thing? Shit?
So I mentioned to Trey some of the quote-unquote banned TED Talk episodes, right? And so there are two that are most popular. One of them is the aquatic ape theory lady. And, she sits on stage and talks about, science doesn't respect and won't look into the idea that maybe the reason, humans speciated from other hominoids is because we evolved in water. And, since humans are the only animal that can get fat, that proves it. Which is
but that's the thing is like and then afterwards we watched a YouTube video that just like debunked every single thing. We were just like, we were like, wait a second, monkeys can get fat. I've seen a fat monkey.
So there's that, and then the next one is one of Graham Hancock's good friends. He has one about how science is wrong about most things because science uses materialism, and so that it doesn't adequately examine the world. And one of the claims that I was most mad about when I first listened to this like 12 years ago, I was excited for Trey to hear, was his claim that if you teach one rat something, it becomes easier for all other rats in the world to learn how to do that thing. And that proves that there is some kind of substrate that's non-material that connects the universe, which is awesome.
That was some crazy, like it doesn't even make any sense. Like we were watching it and like it's funny watching that stuff, those types of people, like somebody who's just giving you bad science, because they always like it's funny. We were watching Grant Hancock. We watched that guy. We watched the lady who aquatic ape theory, and they all have the commonality. Like we were watching it, me and Miles, and we were looking at you. We were like, they have the same thing where they go like the establishment is not listening to me, and they pull out some random anecdote that is like unverifiable or like a secondhand anecdote, like somebody telling them about how like this professor was confronted with their truth, like they're that
Yeah, they
this
always one up the stupid professor. It's the same stuff that happens in like God's Not Dead, right? There's always this
yes.
made up professor that they're like, "Ha, I gotcha." Like, who knows who this guy is? Where is this person? But they always have that story.
It was funny. It was funny watching this because we got angry at it, and like the funny thing is that like only we understood, like like we were like but yeah. Anyways, it was awesome seeing Miles. It was fun meeting him in person because I what did I say? First thing, like what did I say when I got to you first? I thought you'd be taller. Like like Miles is a tall guy, but I think in my head I built up that you are literally Harry and the Hendersons, that you were like 7 feet tall. So like when I saw you, I was like, oh, he's not as tall as I thought. I don't know, it was funny. That was a cool guy, though. I really enjoyed it. If you ever want to come out to me, there's a place with you too. We can hang out wherever I'm
Thanks, buddy.
moving to. And yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
wherever
so
that is.
much. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
it was good watching some Bob Gilman videos from years
Oh yeah, we watched Bob Gilman where we were like, this is stupid. This is
Well, when we were
stupid.
clicking, we just sitting there, eating junk food because I had those chocolate covered cherries.
You
We
did
just
have
sitting
those
there eating
good
those,
chocolate.
hanging
Yeah.
out, watching YouTube shit, and then we saw the best argument for Bigfoot video, so we obviously had to watch it. And it's just like, look at this little brown thing in the corner of the video. How can science explain this?
And
Like,
you're
yeah,
like,
like of
"This is your
course.
best argument?" We were like, "This is your best argument," and then also, like, he kept on talking about, like, how, like, "I know this is not gonna convert anybody," and so then why are you telling us? Like, wait. Um, oh my gosh, yeah, yeah, but it was awesome. It was a long time coming, like, I dreamed of that, like, ever since because we started, like, 5 years ago,
Yeah,
um,
wow. Yeah,
and it was really cool to me, and we've been talking about it for, like, the longest time, so it was really cool to have it actually happen. It needed to happen. Um,
yeah,
it was, what is it? Meeting of the minds? It was
yeah.
Diogenes
It,
meeting
it,
Alexander. It was it's
it's funny. People are like, oh, are you guys gonna get along? I'm like, we talk all the fucking time. We've been talking nonstop for years, man. We'll be fine.
we got along pretty good. We got along pretty good.
Yeah, because
I
Trey's my guy when I'm like, are you seeing this shit?
are you
Like
are you seeing this shit? And we could talk about like fucking on cinema or whatever. I recently got back into on cinema,
I need
Miles.
to catch up on that. I
That
love
shit
that
is
show.
funny. I just love Mark. I love Mark.
What was the girl's name? The like cute blonde girl they brought in like a couple seasons ago. She was my favorite. Um, that like
The
they
Star Trek argument. Oh my gosh,
oh
that's the
yeah, Star Trek
funny.
4. Yeah,
Star Trek 4 set in San Francisco. They go to court. He brings it up in court. Oh my gosh.
classic.
Yeah.
Um, but Trey, somebody we dislike more than some of these cryptid guys said some stuff that might be historically questionable.
Yes. Yes. My story for this week. This was a recent story. Here, I'm getting my blanket propped up because I'm under a blanket right now. This is recording on the go. I'm like in not my usual setup. Yes. So this is recent. This was what was the march? It was like the March for Life or something. It was some anti-abortion meetup. What is
Christian
it?
nationalist.
Christian nationalist meetup. I like how it's called a meetup. Like a you can't really protest if you're in power, right, Miles? Like that's not how that
No, it's
works.
just it's just a
Like a
show of
rally, a
force
rally.
of bigotry is what it
Yeah.
is.
Miles, oh my gosh, when I was in Columbia, South Carolina, there was like a anti-abortion, like pro-life rally like this at the Capitol, and they had. I only bring it up because they were talking about they had a lady giving a speech or some like pastor giving a speech up there, and to the pastor's right was the football game on the big screen, like the championship
Yeah,
game, And I was just like, oh my gosh, like these boomers, like they're like, we know you probably won't come if you have to choose between the games. So like, how about we just have the game in the corner and you show up to the abortion rally? I was like, like it's like how like kids like have like when they have to watch TikToks, they have to have like Family Guy funny clips in the corner and stuff. Like it was funny. Anyways, so
Funny's a weird word.
funny,
Depressing.
depressing. Like it was just like, oh my gosh, like these boomers couldn't be helped to just like show up to the rally. They need like football to distract themselves. Like they're like, I ain't missing my football. All right, like I'll show up to the rally, but I need my football.
To be fair, I would miss my football either. So I mean, I can't really say I would miss it. I mean, but I'm not showing up at the anti-abortion rally. Yeah.
No. So, anyways, Vice President J.D. Vance.
Advance Cover Company declares war on dirt, spills, and stains. Now protect your furniture with durable, long-wearing vinyl slipcovers from Advance Cover Company. Custom fitted right in your home, clear vinyl or pastel color slipcovers from Advance keep your furniture clean and new-looking for a lifetime. Spills wipe up easily. And now with any slipcover purchase, Advance will clean your furniture absolutely free.
What is like the fake name somebody made up for the what does the JD stand for?
I don't
know. I saw like a clip. Anyways, he gave a speech at some anti-abortion rally, and it showed up on my feed where it caught my eye. And I'm gonna quote him here. We're not gonna play the clip, but I'm gonna quote him. He randomly brought up he was on his stage talking about Christian values and stuff, and he was like, I read an article some time ago about classic archaeology of all things. And one particular piece of information has haunted me, that one of the telltale signs of an ancient brothel in the pagan world was that you'd always find a large number of baby skeletons nearby. A lot of baby skeletons, and those bones predominantly belong to boys because, unlike little girls, those boys would be of no use to the future adults who are running those brothels. Now, this is shocking to us because we grew up in a Christian culture and we're formed by religious values. Even those of us who aren't particularly faithful, it's shocking to think and hear. But we remember that in the ancient pagan world, discarding children was routine, from the skeletons and brothels to child sacrifice of the Mayans. The mark of barbarism is that we treat babies like inconveniences to be discarded rather than blessings to cherish that they are. I was like, oh, what a speech. I know. He's like using like words like barbarism and pagan world and stuff.
I can tell you, growing up in the church, this is the kind of like appeals to anthropology that I actually hear a lot of. Like this
yeah,
is
it was
kind of like
it was jarring to me to hear like weaponized archaeology. Like archaeology is being weaponized for political and religious, clout. Like, so I was like intrigued by this. I was like, what article is he referring to? Like, where did he get this information from? Because he's saying it at this rally and it's going uncontested, like nobody in that, I highly doubt anybody in that rally is an archaeologist or has any like background in archaeology. Nobody's going to call him out on this.
Yeah.
So they're just hearing JD Vance's version of this article that he read some time ago. So I dug into it. I was curious to know what he's referring to and if this is true, because his argument basically is the ancient world before Christian culture and religious values was extremely significantly more barbaric, and that a sign of this is like brothels would just routinely throw babies away, particularly boys, because they were not useful. And that this is a mark of like paganism, like Christians did not do this, and therefore Christianity's better. And like he's extrapolating it into that like we are straying, like we are straying as a culture, that like this is somehow linked to abortions, like infanticide, which is what he's saying, like killing like a newborn or recently born baby is the same as abortion, which is a jump. Like I don't think we have to like act like that's not a huge jump there. But yeah, so he's saying this, and this is informing people's opinions on legislation and laws and stuff. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's important to pick it apart. Like, is this true? And anyways, what I found out is what he's referring to consists of only 2 archaeological sites. So this is not like some giant, many dozens, hundreds of sites in the way that he acts like this is like a what does he say?
So Trey,
One of the
the
telltale
telltale
signs of
signs.
an ancient brothel in the pagan world is like, yeah, he's like, this is an extremely common thing that all archaeologists agree on. Archaeologists like use this as an indicator. So that's not true. So he's referring to the article that he's citing only consists of 2 archaeological sites of questionable interpretations. These 2 sites are the Ashkelon bathhouse in Roman Palestine, like a Roman era bathhouse, and the Udin Roman villa in Roman Britain. And so here's the thing: neither of these, it's very likely that neither of these are actually brothels. So the okay, starting with the Ashkelon bathhouse. Ashkelon bathhouse, the skeletons that he's referring to. It's something like 43 infant skeletons were found in a sewer nearby, like attached to the bathhouse. Um, and so there was an article that DNA tested the skeletons and found that there was a disproportionate sex ratio between the skeletons. They had 43 skeletons tested, only 19 actually yielded results, and it was 14 male skeletons, 5 female skeletons. Um, and the paper went on to say that this is where he gets like the idea that like males were killed disproportionately to females, and therefore like males were seen as not useful for the brothel. And basically this article, the only reason this article assumes that this bathhouse was a brothel is based on that disproportionate sex ratio of skeletons.
Hmm.
So and other archaeologists have gone out and disputed this and said that like it seems like circular reasoning, right? That like you're assuming that it's a bathhouse or you're assuming it's a brothel because there's skeletons, and you're assuming a brothel would have skeletons because the males are useless or something, which is not true either. In antiquity, male babies were extremely useful because you could sell them off as slave labor and
Well,
stuff, like
yeah, and there's lots of wars.
there's lots of
And
right.
and through most of history, when you're having wars, young men are pretty valuable.
Right. Right. So it's like even like, and I noticed that when JD Vance was saying that, when he was like, males are not like, yes, what he said, those boys would not be of use to future adults who are running those brothels. Not true. Just straight up not true. You sell them off. Like slavery was very common in the ancient world, and people would sell children into slavery and make money off of it. Like that. That's how it is. Anyway, so that's the
They do that
Ashkelon
stuff in
bathhouse.
Grimm's fairy tales, man. Like there's Grimm's fairy tale stories of selling the kids, letting the kids go because they can't afford them. You
Right.
know, like, and
So
that's not even like that old. That's
It's like
Germany, like
that's like
400
300
years ago.
years ago, 400 years ago. Yeah, yeah. So number one of the 2 sites, Ashkelon bathhouse, might not be a brothel. It may be, like these establishments possibly could double as brothels. Like the thing is we don't know. There's not like hard evidence of this being a brothel, and then there's no hard evidence of this. And so I'll get to it. So there's that. So it might not be a brothel. I think the sample size of their data is kind of weird, like 5 female to 14 male is not a super strong trend, Um,
Hmm.
so it's a very small sample size. So like who knows? Maybe because they tested 43 and they only got 19 back. So who knows if the other 20 something like will upset those ratios. Maybe it will be equal. So your theory kind of might get squashed by that. So there you go. Anyways, and then the second site, the Udin Roman villa, is almost certainly not a brothel. Like this idea that it was a brothel, like again, it's the circular reasoning where they found baby skeletons and for some reason they assume it's a brothel just based on that. The Udin Roman villa, it's a villa complex, like it's somebody's house, like a very wealthy person's like manor. And it's very rural, like it's in a very rural, isolated location. So it's unlike any brothel, like any other brothel in like the Roman world. Like Roman world
Yeah.
brothels are only really found in dense urban areas, and this is a rural location. This is somebody's house. So I think the Udin Roman villa, like basically nobody believes it's a brothel, but there was like when it was first talked about in literature.
Well, J.D. Vance believes it.
But JD Vance believes it. So here's the thing: is we have his trend consists of two sites that may or that are unlikely to be brothels. Like we don't know. Like the Ashkelon bathhouse, I shouldn't give it to him, but like maybe. But the Udin Roman villa, almost certainly not. Um, and so here, my thing is here is that, and I think with the villa showed that the study of the skeletons, the infant skeletons there were roughly equal sex ratio. So it even messes up their idea that there was like this trend that males were killed more than females or something like that. It messes up their trend. Um, Anyways, so other archaeology, there's also the level of like they were infant skeletons, but also like these places are continually habited for like the Udin villa and similar sites. Like they a lot of sources will just report the numbers. Like will just report
Mm-hmm.
like 50 infants were found, 50 dead infants. But the thing is this is a site that's been inhabited for 200, 300 years. Like like it would be unsurprising for if there weren't that many dead infants built up over that amount of
Sure.
time. So it's anyway, and then also here's the thing is that we don't know if how these children died. Like they're assuming that it's infanticide, but there's no evidence of that. Like infant mortality in the ancient world and then to relative like into like pre-industrial era, like 200 years ago, was extremely high. And so you'd have a lot of stillbirths and natural deaths and disease. So these children might just be the product of that. We don't know. Like that's the thing is we don't know. And
Well, none of this makes a compelling point about civilization in 2026. You
yes,
know?
yes, that's the thing is like the thing is his argument is based on based on data that basically doesn't back him up. Like we know that infanticide did exist in the ancient world. I don't want to say that
Well,
infanticide didn't, but
of course,
it also did in the Middle Ages. Like and up until relatively recently. Like we don't know how regular it was, and most of the time it was done with just babies that had like visible birth or health defects, like somebody who was like disabled. So like this idea. So, anyways, this idea that like the ancient pagan world. He uses the word like pagan, like to distinguish between like the Christian world, and like I don't know where your cutoff is like paganism, like I don't know. I'm curious to know like how JD Vance feels about like his own wife's religion. Like she's a practicing Hindu, and like is that paganism? Like is Hinduism paganism to him? Like are they still in the pagan world? Like
I think most likely yes.
that's so
Ba- based
disgusting. Like
based on how like I heard people talk growing up. Yeah. So,
and like that's the thing is like he's married to this woman and presumably they agree on a lot of different stuff, but like she gets her morality not from Christianity but from Hinduism or somewhere
but
else. Like she doesn't
that's not what they
derive it.
think. They think morality
It's
only
all
comes from
derived from
Christianity.
Christianity.
Yeah.
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 So yeah. So anyway. So yeah. All this to say is that he gets the archaeology bad. Like he's basically citing these very specific, like these two sites and these two bad interpretations that have been questioned by other majority of scholarship, I'd say, questions these, and then extrapolating it to be used as like some type of weaponized archaeology, like as evidence to support like why like America should be not a secular nation but like a Christian nation, and and also like modern abortions are the same thing as Roman era infanticide, which is
Yeah,
something that we don't
this
even
is
know if
all
that's
part this is all part of the apologetics of
yeah.
the Christian nationalists to try to explain why the colonialism of like Anglo groups through the Americas or what have you is correct, because they brought this Christian morality to the world, and the world this is a 230-year-old apologetic or older, right? This is old.
Mm,
Like this is basically like these areas of the world don't have the correct values, and the left thinks that it was wrong that we colonized or took over these places, but what we actually did is supplanted their terrible, destructive, anti-life morality with our Christian morality. And you can see this because they don't honor babies,
yeah,
they kill babies. It's
yeah,
like that's what they're doing, and it's like extremely racist. And regardless of that, it's just not actually very accurate.
right,
Like if you want to be extremely fair, different religious groups have like things that I would consider my sacral morality, right? From my perspective, some of them more align, some of them don't. Um, I don't agree with a lot of morality that Islam would put forth, but like they're actually like less anti-abortion, for example, right?
mm,
Because it's just like the way that their culture interprets their texts. But Protestants are more against that, and so like different religions will have pluses or minuses in how their kind of cultural morality is. So yeah, you could say Christian morality, perhaps the way that Sut has a couple pluses over whatever other group, but that's not an argument that is an apologetic for colonialism. It's
right,
it's extremely ridiculous. Like it's all this stuff is just racism, and
yeah,
it's very gross. It's a very old, disgusting kind of racism, and they're trying to find new ways to make it trend without using the same words that have been used the last 50 years. It's just how they've it's just the same as the strategy that like the Republicans used to win the South, right? Like they don't say the N word anymore; they say busing, right? They don't say segregation; they say school choice. It's the same thing now. They're just finding new ways to argue about Christian nationalism, and
mm,
it's especially annoying to us when they do it by misrepresenting anthropology and archaeology and history. So
right. Yes, like yeah, it is. It is very frustrating. Um, and yeah, and then here's the thing: is like this goes uncontested. Like I don't see any
oh, of
news,
course.
nobody calling this out. It's interesting seeing weapon like archaeology being weaponized because I think of other like or like politicized like where like I don't know, you see a lot of like people like JD Vance or Elon Musk or something bringing up like Roman Empire fall of the Roman Empire was due to um immigration. Like that's I think that's the thing that they blame it on a lot, right? They blame it on immigration. They're like Romans lost their Roman values and therefore and they needed to keep them pure, like that kind of shit. And again, that's
Yeah.
bad archaeology. Like no archaeologist believes that. No archaeologist really kind of believes their narrative of like the Roman Empire, like quote unquote, like falling in that way. Um, and then that, like, yeah, you ask an archaeologist, like, how I'll say Western Roman Empire collapsed, like however you want to put it. And you'll get like no archaeologist will be give you like a very nuanced answer of like, well, like it was many different factors and it was tons of different things, and you can't blame it on one thing. It has nothing really to do about and like what does that mean to us in the modern day? Nothing. Like because that's the thing is like Elon Musk or whatever, they extrapolate that into the modern day. They're like, we're the modern Romans, and therefore like we can't have like the same mistakes, as if like we are not just like an extremely different culture, an extremely different world than them. Like, yeah, it's
Everybody has wanted to take credit for like the throne of Rome for ever,
yes,
right?
everybody.
Like this is not new at all. Everybody kind of claims it. Every empire claims it. It's pretty stupid and old hat to be honest, but it works on people.
Remember when you showed me the Atlanteans thing, the Atlantean song?
Oh yeah,
Atlantis.
oh
We're
yeah.
down the
Donovan.
ocean.
Yeah, yeah. I
Donovan.
made you listen to Donovan's
The
Atlantis thing.
wizard. There was a wizard. There was
The magician. The
the
magician was in it
magician.
too.
Sorry, the magician.
Yeah,
The
and they bring
priest.
that up in uh
In
I played it on
Futurama.
the show before on Futurama. Yeah, it's great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll keep my eye out for more bad archaeology in politics. Like, gosh, like I'm trying to think if there are any other bad archaeology in
I mean,
politics.
there's ones that I think like like liberals use too about Jesus. Like I think they're well
Mm.
meaning, but like them calling Jesus a refugee, I don't think is accurate. Like
Oh yeah,
the whole
yeah,
the whole move to Bethlehem in the story, it's a census, right? If I don't think it's an actual historical event, but in the story, they're there because of the census. They're not refugees, right? Like so,
yeah,
like Jesus was not a refugee. They say that to politicize Jesus' story to try to get on the right for unethically being against immigrants to the way that they are. And so like I'm like I'm with you emotionally, but like the Jesus story gets politicized by the left to attack the right in a lot of ways, which I don't think are very historical. So,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's the thing is like I was reading the Odyssey recently, and yeah, people
Hmm.
do the same thing with the Odyssey, where they try to modernize it and politicize it, and instead of like accepting that it exists in a special period of time, and the period of time people had different morals and different morality. Um, the book I was reading had a passage kind of about like, well, like Odysseus is kind of like a homeless man, and it's the Odyssey is about treating the homeless correctly and stuff. It's like, maybe like you could like. There's definitely something about guest right and being kind to strangers
Well,
and stuff,
yeah, like
hospitality.
being
But it's
hospitality is a core virtue of the ancient world storytelling, right? It's not about
yes,
homelessness. Like that.
yes, and,
Yeah,
and it also takes away from the fact that when Odysseus is like a beggar, like a homeless beggar, he's begging as a former king, like he's like the son of
yes.
Deucalion or something like that, the king of Crete. So he's a fellow nobleman begging for hospitality from fellow noblemen. Like if he was like a slave, I don't know if they would care as much, you know.
Yeah, I think it's totally valid
Yeah,
and a natural and perhaps a very good thing to read older works and contextualize them in the modern day to yourself to learn morals or to think about things. That's critical thinking, that's critical analysis, that is good. But
yeah,
when you want to talk about like the truth of how those stories were told at the time or how people thought in the past, they're not responding to our political reality. There's like a
yes,
shared way that things happen, like we're humans, right? Like, and it's good to talk about that, but like people in the past had their own way of thinking, and I don't like when we just always force our words and stuff on them.
yeah,
Like a lot of times I can agree with the ethic. I'm not like these are the wrong ethics, but like it's important and it actually can be very informative to you and make you wiser when you think about people thought about these things completely different back then.
mm,
Not thinking good or worse, just like these conditions or those terms didn't exist.
yeah.
You know, so
I
yeah,
agree. I agree.
don't make the past your own. It's the past, and you can learn from it, but you don't own it. It was their time, you know.
Yeah. And be willing to accept that it was different time, you know, it's different time, and maybe there's certain like maybe we're better than I don't know. There's so much of people like especially like conservatives look back to the past as if it was this better time. Um, like oh
Maybe
my
the
gosh,
'90s were, but
things were well. Yes, the '90s. Okay, I'll
maybe
give you that.
maybe
Uh,
the '90s,
the
but
90s the 90s were awesome. As somebody who did not live through them, I
yeah,
hear that economically, culturally, the 90s were pretty chill.
yeah, man, I miss them.
Um,
So,
but like, yeah, like, cause yeah, they're like that's what JD Vance is saying here. Like, I hate to bring it back to him, but like, yeah, he's very subtle. Well, maybe not so subtly, like asking that America become like a theocracy again, right? Like he's like Christianity should be a bigger part in culture in American politics, and like
yeah,
I'm a
because he was specifically selected by Peter Thiel to be part of the government because Peter Thiel is a weird like apocalyptic theocratic fellow, and so
yeah,
this is all his worldview because
yeah,
Peter Thiel heavily believes in the Antichrist mythology from the Book of Revelations. Uh, a book that really shouldn't be in the Bible. I don't think. Like it's pretty ridiculous actually that modern biblical scholars allow it to be in there. I think I don't know. It's just stupid to me. We don't need. It's fine.
I think I was reading Christopher Hitchens and he brings up that fact that like yeah, Revelation's like only really in there because of John, right? It's like written by
Yeah. Well.
John the
Yeah.
Evangelist, something like that. And they're like,
Yeah.
ooh,
It's John of Patmos. It's a different John.
Oh, it's a different. See, that's the thing. Is like in church,
Yeah,
like you're like I for the longest time thought that like the evangelists, like the writers of the gospels,
hmm
were the apostles, were like the Jesus's disciples,
yeah.
and they're not. It's
They
just like
want you
some of
to
the
think that.
they want you to think that, but like they're different people. They're different people. Like so, yeah. Until now, I thought John the Evangelist was the same as John of Patmos, but he's not. There's a different guy also named
It's a totally
John.
different guy. Like I honestly think if you were a true believer, I think that you should argue to remove that book from the Bible. I think it's uh the history of that book and stuff is very questionable, and it doesn't have a right to be in there over many books that are not. So it's strange that some Christians choose it as their favorite one, because it's kind of like the Book of Enoch was removed and it was very popular in its time because it's like fantastical, you know.
Hmm.
So it was liked at the time because of that. That's kind of the way Book of Revelations is, where it's very fantastical. Yet they've kept it in there. So I don't know. It's kind of strange, but that is a deep topic for a different time. Um,
Yes. Yes.
any
Anyways,
last
that's my
words
topic.
on?
JD Vance doesn't know anything about archaeology. You double check, if somebody uses this kind of like that's the thing. Whenever somebody says it's like a trend and you never heard it before, like I don't know, I do archaeology. Like I studied archaeology in college. Never heard this. Never heard this. Uh, like if look into it, see what they're citing. Like that's the annoying thing when somebody gives a speech and they say like, "Oh, I was reading this" or whatever, and they don't, they're not citing a source because I guess this isn't like a scholarly, an academic setting. Like this is just somebody shooting, but this stuff impacts people's lives. Like they're voting on, like he's talking about like anti-abortion, like that affects people, that affects thousands of people. And so like it's important to get the facts right. So look into whenever somebody brings something like this up, I feel the need to like check the source because a lot of times, almost all the time, the source like they either made it up or it's a
I
misrepresentation of the
made it
source.
up.
It's false. No way. Not this time. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time. It never happened. It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened.
Like oh my gosh, like we made it up. They made not this
Hmm.
time. Not this time. Like I'm thinking of Trump with the windmills, the wind turbines, and how he claims that like the wind turbines are like killing the whales and stuff. And how if you go through that, and I've heard family members quote this to me that this is the reason why we can't have wind turbines and stuff like that.
You know what
That
really
it's
sucks is somebody who's a little down on wind technology, because I'm much more pro nuclear, and I think wind is
oh yeah,
an
I am
imperfect
also
option.
pro nuclear.
I,
Yeah.
I can never like say anything bad about wind now, because then they think I'm saying that. And it really annoys me.
Right.
So it's like somebody else monopolized the critical point, and it's very frustrating.
It is frustrating, and it's frustrating too. Where like it's funny when I in those situations where it's like, oh, especially when dealing with conservatives, like, oh, you care about animals now, you care about the ecosystem
Yeah.
all of a sudden, and they don't understand the concept of maybe they do they just don't care, but like the that like 30 birds killed a year by wind turbines is way better than way better than the whole ecosystem being messed up by fossil fuels and stuff like this is data, like you can accept the lesser of two evils, um yeah. Anyways, like the good that this would do versus the price that you have to pay. So yeah, whenever a politician or somebody like says something like that we should not be doing this because the science says this and that like check because a lot of times the like that's the thing is what I found is the whole thing about male babies being killed more often than female babies. It's 15 to 4 or 5 or 14 to 5. Like that's a very small sample size, and that's your trend. That's your data is 15 to or 14 to 5. Like that's it.
Well, yeah, that
You
that
know?
might not even be a significant trend, right?
Yeah.
But let's say it is. Let's say that version of events did happen at this one place. that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean very much.
You can't
That
extrapolate that to every other, like that's not a trend because you only have one archaeological site,
yeah, and I could say, yeah, that sounds bad that happened, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything for me. Like all of us agree that that's not the system we should run our civics through. So
Yeah.
what are you talking about, really? It's
And then
just
also,
the
yeah,
system.
there's multiple layers there because they're also assuming that these are murdered children, and you're like, well, we don't know that. We don't know that. That's something that's not attested to archaeologically. That's you putting an interpretation onto it. Like it's all these layers. There's so many layers of assumption, and like it takes just like somebody to be like, wait a minute. You're assuming this and assuming this and then assuming this, and then you're basing our civics on it. You're basing our modern morality on this faulty data's
Why
interpretation.
don't
Like
you
it's crazy. Yeah.
why don't you go to some of those Christian schools that they ran when they were trying to anglicize the Indians and see all the baby bones that are in there?
Oh yeah. That's the thing is like Christianity has so many
How
skeletons in their closet,
how do you
like
square that with the morale? Yeah, shut up, man.
yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
do not like those people. Is the point that I want to make.
yes.
So
I don't either. So yeah, anyways, I'm telling people, just fact check people. Fact check if somebody's making a claim, let's see the data, like it's good to look at statistics, in numbers, because if you're just ethereal talking, it means nothing, like what is
it
your
is easy to create a subjective and emotional argument to like support whatever you believe in politically, but like the actual science of understanding the past matters.
yes. Yeah.
But yeah, we are not against talking politics on the show when it comes to the topics. We're not necessarily a political show, although I'm happy to let people know my opinions.
It's
But
hard
I think
not
it's
to these days, Miles,
yeah,
it's hard not
yeah.
to.
I'm a very political person. I created a political organization. But I think especially when those things talk about the things that we care about in the show, right? Things that people claim are true, right? Which is one of the titles of our show. Like, I think
Mm.
it's really good that you brought this up and it's worth talking about. So,
Oh, thank you. I'm happy. Happy it was
yeah.
good something we're talking about. Because yeah, I saw it and
Um,
was like, I don't know if this would be a good story or not. So
no,
it's
it was a
good.
great story, Trey.